when we were talking about Walt and Roy Disney, you know, if it wasn't for Roy, you know, Roy took care of the business part. And also, too, you know, we go back to that old philosophy, do for self. Because what he did, their pictures were distributed by different other companies. And then, you know, sometimes they got paid, and sometimes they didn't get paid. So Roy took care of all that. But then later on, they said, later, we're gonna do our own thing, and they had their own distributing company. That's what I'm saying with the Black Man. They had up with their own distributing company. You know.
And so Tony and we consider ourselves partners in good. You know, so we formed a partnership, and with our partnership, we're able to work together to do good and to help each other and to help others, because that's kind of at the end of the day what it's all about. You know, emotional, economic empowerment, empowering our people any way that we can. One of our co-authors in this book, Crystal Vaughn Robinson, her husband died suddenly, and she wrote the story in book 2, and she called me up one day crying, and she was crying about should she include her married last name in the title, because her business name, she used her maiden name. And so I said, you should use your husband's name as a co-author in the book. That would be your tribute to your husband. And you know, it's just to know that her writing stories in this book was part of her healing process. It is a blessing in itself.
We would like to thank you very much for coming on the LMS show, and we're looking forward to seeing you again.
Well, it was an honor, a privilege,
it was
and
an honor.
pleasure.
Coming up next, whoa! I told her a few minutes ago we won't mention the name because everybody gonna sit back probably hate on me, but I don't care one or the other. But here's an author I wouldn't mind go see at the Barclays. And you'll see her in 1 minute and take it down. Thank you so much. And with that, with the LMS show, oh my goodness, I have a young gentleman, young handsome gentleman. What's the name, brother?
Will Mountain.
What's the name?
Will Mountain.
Give it up for my brother here. Now I must say this. You're the husband of the author of this book, Miss Stevens, right?
Yes, it's Ahky Stevens, yes.
How long you knew Miss Stevens?
For 24 years, 24 years.
How'd you Oh, you don't do that no more. Oh. How'd y'all meet?
On the 8th Avenue C train.
On the C train? On the C train. A lot of good things come off the C train.
I'll take a ride.
On the C train. So you were eyeing her?
Kind of, we were eyeing both each other.
Oh, for real? Oh. Oh my goodness. Sometimes people say, sometimes it's dangerous to me. I met pretty interesting people on the subway. I met a young lady, I used to call her the number 1 or the number 5. And then I met, before I got ready to hang up my rock and roll shoes, I met a young lady, was the Wall Street girl. I mean, she gets on that train, she commanded the train. She wasn't all them ordinary ones going to work. But that was my girl, the Wall Street girl. Now, your wife wrote this book, right?
Yes.
You know, I read this book. I was happy in some, and I was sad in the other parts. Sad in a lot of parts, And we talk about family, about families, Sometimes, you get a little bit more from a stranger sometimes than from your family in some cases. I don't know, what they say your family, well, you stuck with them. But you have children, right?
Yeah, one yesterday.
Oh, okay. Okay. In a few minutes, I want you to introduce her, and she's gonna be coming up here. What's that name? The book or those?
The Only Stupidity by Ahky Stevens.
In 1 minute, you're gonna meet her. As the late great Jimmy Durante would say, "Hey, person," and give it up. Take that. Your own stupidity. But sometimes, yes, after I read this book, it could be yes and no. Empower readers not to run from their past and their mistakes. A U.S. review of books. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to meet a young lady. What's your name, my friend?
Sis Ahky Stevens.
Sid Ahky Stevens. Give it up for Sid Ahky Stevens. I went this book. Okay. I went through this book, and I love it. It's a good book.
Thank you.
It talks about your childhood, and people say, another book, please. People you tell people like, please, another. But this one tells a story. But we really, it was the relationship with your father. And you try to tell, I think who you were trying to address, single ladies out there, single women, who the father's not around. Tell us about your father.
Well, my father, he actually is still alive, and he hasn't been a part of my life. And through my childhood, that was a difficult time for me. I longed to be with him. I grew up here in New York, but moved back down south to live with my grandmother. And my father lived in the state where my grandmother lived.
Yes.
And I attempted to reach out to him and was constantly rejected. So my story is about that rejection from my point of view. So no one could say this is not true, because these are my feelings and what I was feeling as a child. Now as an adult, I have a different take on life, but overall, I could not deny how I felt as a child. So I was striving to tell my story, because there are a lot of single parents, whether it's single mothers or single fathers, but also a lot of fatherless children, including motherless children. We won't exclude them. And many of them have shared their experiences with me, and I realized that families are more productive when they have both parents. Maybe not under the same roof, but working together.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because, let's talk off there. This particular couple, they didn't get along too good. So, but they stayed for the benefit, I tell you often say, for the benefit of the children, and they were good co-parents. And also to this particular person's heart, not heart, but he valued family. And you say your father, I don't want to say that, had another woman, right? Another wife, or you had one?
Well, my father never married my mother. It was a short-term relationship. And when he got married, he moved on with his family and left me behind. And I was so distressed over that situation, because I grew up in a close environment with my family, and their fathers were coming around, or their fathers lived in the household with them. And it was just so unfair to me at that time. And I blame myself, because I wanted to try really hard.
Why you blame yourself?
Well, as a kid, I blame myself because I wanted to try really hard to get him to approve of me.
You said that he had it was a roadblock. his wife, right? His wife was sort of a roadblock, right?
Yes, at times we have that. Once you get married, then you make decisions to be with that family. And that's what I experienced, that roadblock of never having that acceptance. And it was very disappointing.
And you turn to, in some cases, turn to other things like alcohol.
Yes, I was a very heavy drinker in my youth because I was trying to suppress those feelings. And I found out later on in life that wasn't the way to go.
I was reading through this book. You had other men in your life, right? Boyfriends and stuff like that?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Well, I had one boyfriend at that time. He was trying his best to let me see that he was a stand-up guy. So at that time, I was really digging him and really feeling like life was good. But I also was that doormat in a sense because I would be that person that would pick up the phone at 3 o'clock in the morning and take his calls, deny my sleep, and just think the world of this person and putting him first. And then later on, marry somebody else right underneath me. So that was disappointing for me. But I also blame that I didn't have a father to show me how a young man was supposed to treat me.
That's so, that is so important. Give her a hand on that one. That's so important. I have met ladies, and they didn't have, they have a father, great father and home, and then sometimes they I don't want to sit back here, they bring, they bring all the trash to you, the other person. This really struck me in reading this book, and I came to realize that my father was not only a cold liar, but he could not be trusted also. Just like any relationship, I should have looked for the warning signs. If a man is married, he will not give his mistress his home phone number. He will not introduce her to his immediate family. He will not make appointments to hook up with her during the major events like the holidays, big birthdays, anniversaries, or family celebrations. And these are your words. I was pimped out and didn't know it. A pimp sets the standard to his whore of how things are going down. The rules are understood. There is no room for compromising. All terms are agreed upon by the pimp. If anyone has an issue, the pimp address is fixed, and she will do whatever he demands. The pimp never fess up. I had a secret relationship with him, and no one knew that I exist. My dad was my pimp.
I felt that way because that's really what happened. I grew up with my grandmother. He would see me secretively. I didn't get to see the family until my adult years. I got to know them.
It was one called Smurf, right?
Yes, Smurf was my mother's child. I had
That's from her. Smurf was like from another relationship.
yes, another relationship.
How'd you get along with Smurf?
Oh, Smurf and I talk every day now. So we have a good relationship. Thank you.
But all this, it can't, excuse me, what about you, like you said that by having your father, and it looked like he denied you.
Yeah, he did.
And it looked like it was so many times too.
I didn't see the signs.
You didn't see the signs.
I didn't see the sign because I was having that secretive relationship with him. I didn't even share that relationship with my mom because I thought that she would feel like I was depriving her and all the hard work that she did. So I had to keep my relationship rather secretively to maintain peace.
You mentioned your mother and your grandmother. One by one, your mother, what's your relationship with your mother? You said you love your mother, right?
Yeah, my mother's still here, and both my parents are still alive, but I talk to my mom every day.
Okay.
We have a great relationship. Not perfect, but
Right.
a great relationship.
Your grandmother took you in, right? Way down south, right?
Yes, my grandmother took me in because I just was having so much trouble as a young youth. I got hit by a car, and when I got hit by the car, my mother, being a single parent, had to make some decisions on what would be the better environment for me.
Yes, yes.
Would it be better to live in the city, or would it be better to live in the country near family? So I chose to live with my family and was always welcome to come back to the city to be with my mom. But it just was not always a connection for me because my family had their own families, immediate families. And they also had their children and their fathers. And I just went down south to see the structure of how a family is supposed to be. And when I saw that, I was disappointed. And I wanted to have the structure that every kid desired. Maybe not to have their parents together, but at least have a relationship with both parents.
This was, reading this book. It's just, I guess we get titles, to draw people in. But what I see of it, read the book. It wasn't on your own stupidity. You were just learning things.
Yes.
And sometimes you found things that you didn't want to know, that you didn't,
On your stupidity is not a negative
No, it's not.
way. It's
Okay.
just showing growth and
Yes.
showing that we all have made stupid mistakes at
Yes,
times
yeah.
that we regret. And I just really wanted people to understand that they're human and it's not, it is okay to admit your mistakes. How many of us tell our children the mistakes that we make? A lot of people are ashamed, and I have no reason to be ashamed. I feel that I have grown and I'm a better person today.
We have a couple of minutes on the watch. This was adapted to a movie, right?
Yes, On Your Stupidity, the short film. Same title, short
How
film.
was that? How did that make out?
That was a great experience. It's going to be in the film festival soon.
Oh, okay.
We
Give a big hand.
And we also are having a soundtrack available with the short film. And that should be coming out soon.
Oh, that is, a lot of people say, oh, I want to get to the movie, but you went on it. You went on and did it, sister. Give her a big hand again. You had 2 children. The first one, what happened to the first one?
My first child, he died at 6. Yes, and my daughter right now, she's alive and well and living at home.
Well, it looked like you went through the struggle. It looked like you got the family that you wanted in a way, right?
Yes. Yes.
You had mommy and daddy and the daughter. Children, they always say there's a big rest. People say, oh, we bother kids and stuff like that. But when you start getting on one around with canes and walkers and stuff like that, a child is very valuable. Most child children are very valuable.
Absolutely.
I would like to thank you so much, and I'll give kudos to Professor McAllister. Takes care of you. Give him a big hand. He was a gentleman that told me about this. I said, no, oh, please give me a break. Man. Stop it, Professor, stop it. But I got a chance to meet with you, and I like the book. I really love the book, and I urge anybody to read this book. Read this book. It's a very good book. Talks about life, and we didn't say everything in the book because we're on top, and also too they want they want to know more about it. What, everybody? Read the book. Say it again. Read the book. Okay. We didn't say buy the book, but read the book. Okay. Now back to you, public access. We say read the book. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's give it up for Miss Stevens, everybody. And we'll see you soon with more elements. Look at that. Big hand. Hey! Give us a big hand. Hey! My name is Lenny Matthews, and we have books, Uptown Historical Systems. This is our residence. Okay, everybody else got this. This is our residence. Everybody else got things. Some got the garden, some got the own, the other people. So we got our own place. And we aim to keep this going. This young lady. What was that? Oh, okay. Oh. What was it? When I go out to dinner, my companion do it like this. She said, take the knack and said, okay. Now, are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready? Say yeah.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Fasten seatbelts. We're going over to the other side.
That was good.
Miss Hall. Give Miss Hall a big hand. We're going to the other side. You go to the other side, right?
I do go to the other side. I do.
What's the other side?
I am, the other side is where spirit is. I'm a mental health therapist and a psychic medium, do energy work. So when you said the other side, we're talking about spirit. That's what we call it, spirit. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Well, when we get going, right? You ever see some people crying, sit back. Sometimes they get people so mean, and next thing you know, when they pass away, all of a sudden with the coffin say, "Don't close it, I love you, I always love you." And they got to drag them off. No, they're not coming back. I treated them so mean. Oh, please forgive me. They can't hear you. Is that true? Can they hear you?
They can definitely hear you, and they're probably there at their service.
What?
More than like, this is where we're going. This is why I'm here. This is why I'm here. Yes. So when you transition, I like to use the word transition as opposed to pass away or dead or anything like that. Because it really is just a transitioning from this plane to spirit. It is a transition. So more than when your soul leaves the body, when you transition, more than likely people do attend their service in some form or fashion. Yeah, they want to see what's happening and the shenanigans.
And they see who came.
Yeah, but more than likely, most importantly, they're there to give healing and love. That's what they're there for. Because when you transition, you understand that, yes, death is hard for us on this side, but then you know how loving and caring it is in spirit, so you're trying to give that to others.
Sometimes spirit will still be around, right?
Yes.
And you can feel it too, right?
Of course you can. If you've ever smelled your grandmother's perfume just out of the blue, or your grandfather's cigar, or if you have parents that are transitioned, if you smelled their peach cobbler, and this is just random, like you're not cooking peach cobbler, that's a sign that they're there. They're there. They give us, I like to call God winks, or little winks that they're still with us.
Or turning on the lights.
Energy is the very easiest thing for them to manipulate because we are all energy. So light, radio, everything. Just flip yes. Easily.
TV.
Yeah. I have stories upon stories upon stories.
Yeah, well, you will come back another day for the rest of it.
Yeah. TV. They can manipulate TV too. Yes.
How long you been doing this?
I've been certified for the past 3 years. I always knew I had the gift. I thought I was just a good judge of character. That's what I thought. And then when I did college, I did mental health counseling, and then when I started in the field, I just thought I was just a good therapist. But come to find out, I was actually reading energy and tapping into other people's energy. And then when I relocated to New York, I'm actually from the Midwest, that's when I was like, oh, other people don't do that. And this is actually a gift that's easier for me. I believe everyone can talk. I believe everyone can communicate. It's easier than others. But then I decided I didn't want to do a whole program. I just didn't want to be like the West Village medium that's like $5 a corner. We're not doing that. So yeah. So many questions.
Yeah. I don't know what to say. As far as reaching on that other side, do you do seance and stuff like that?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Well, I just on a one-on-one, we'll do a meditation, and then I start getting information from the other side. Sometimes I see it, sometimes I hear it, sometimes I feel it, sometimes I smell it. There's many different ways. And then in forms of a seance is just a circle. That's all it means. No one's flipping tables or anything like that. It just means that we're all in a circle doing messages. That's all it's saying.
How about, so we're going to bring it back. Reincarnation. Do you believe
I do. Not everyone does, but I do believe that your soul comes back. I don't think that if I'm a human this life, I'm coming back as a dog next life. I wear glasses. I don't believe that. I believe our soul is on a journey, and we do have to come back to learn things that we didn't learn for the past time.